Colt Emerson, you've heard us talk about him a ton. I'm just a huge fan of his game. We talked about the toe tap, ditching the big leg kick, up and push forward. Toe tap keeps you centered. They rave about how he's ahead of his years. They rave about the defense. And it's funny because I'm asking about how much better this guy got offensively in his age 19 season to reach AAA and then get up there and, for a handful of games continue to dominate there. This is, I still think, the heir apparent to J.P. Crawford at shortstop. This is the next shortstop for the Seattle Mariners.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show. That was Aram Leighton of Just Baseball Media back in March, talking about Colt Emerson while he was still in the minors. Let's welcome in Just Baseball's co-founder. He's also a host on the podcast, The Call Up. Aram, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. That was an awesome intro.
Well, and I'm going to add to it. I mean, we think here in the PNW that Brad Adam from the Mariners has the best hair, but Aram, I think you may have the best hair in baseball. So it's great to have you on, and you've got great insight when it comes to baseball. Just Baseball comes up with regular lists ranking the top 100 MLB prospects. The Mariners have 4 on your current list. Talk about the depth of the Mariners system right now.
Yeah, and I guess it'll stick at 4. I was going to say 5 on the next update, but then Emerson's going to graduate, which is always great, right? You want to graduate these prospects, but we got some other guys that'll be on the horizon as well. But the depth of this system is just consistent, and I think it's a combination of strong drafting with the Mariners and then paired with the player development and Justin Toole and what he's been able to do to continue to get the most out of these guys. I mean, there's a strong case that Michael Arroyo, if you ask a lot of people, should be a top 100 prospect. And I always joke that there's about 200 prospects that are top 100 caliber, right? Johnny Farmello, the way that he's playing. I know Mariners fans felt like we snubbed Felny and Celestin, and he will be on the next update. And you've got several other players that are playing at a really high level. You pair that with your top-end blue-chip prospects and how well they're playing at the upper levels or now at the big league level, and you can feel really good about the talent and the next wave of which that they have coming in Seattle.
Hey, Aram, you mentioned Colt Emerson graduating from this list soon. Let's turn to number 5, Ryan Sloan. Lots of buzz around this guy. What are his strengths?
I mean, it's almost the bigger question is like, what isn't his strength at this point? It's so amazing. At 20 years old, he was 19 years old at season start, to have the polish that he has. When you also, I mean, he's sitting in the upper 90s, right? That fastball is averaging 96.5. And the other part about it is, he just picks up a ball and says, you know what, I need to start throwing a sinker, and finds it in a matter of like one bullpen. I don't know how guys can just do that. Not many can. And the Mariners have said themselves, like, we almost have to tell him to slow down because it's so easy for him to start adding stuff and expanding. But when you have such a smooth delivery at his age and already to be, having the success that he's had through stretches at AA, the feel to spin the baseball is ridiculous as well. I mean, his sweeper is one of the nastier breaking balls you're going to see. He's got the cutter. He's got, again, the 2 fastballs and then the splitter working off of it. It's such a complete arsenal with such a good feel for it that you don't often see from a high school hard-throwing righty that just makes you so excited about what can be as he just continues to mature.
Yeah, the pitching depth in the Mariners organization, incredible right now. You've got the 6 starters as we speak with the M's organization. You mentioned Sloan, and then you got Cade Anderson. He's been impressive as well this season. The Mariners took him in the first round last summer out of LSU. He will be 22 in a couple of weeks. How close is he?
I mean, I think in a lot of other situations, he's in the big leagues right now. And we know with the Mariners, they're already so piled up right now in the rotation. We've got the piggyback situation going on because Cade Anderson's too good for the minor leagues right now. I think that's just abundantly clear. He's pitched 27 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. Opponents are hitting the slash line across is like 1-1-1. I think you might get a 2 there in the slugging department, but across the entire arsenal, it's huge whiff rates. It's a 41% strikeout rate against him. And it doesn't really matter if you're a lefty, if you're a righty, you're not going to have a very comfortable at bat. But the thing with him is, the polish is what made him such a highly regarded prospect out of the draft, and a guy that the Mariners say they had number 1 on their big board, so they were thrilled to grab him where they did. But the polish paired with the improved stuff and the execution across just a very distinct 4-pitch mix is what stands out to me. Opponents are hitting 100 against his slider. The changeup has come along so much. I just don't really know how you can game plan for a left-hander who has 4 distinct pitches that he can spot and go to in any count. And I think he's just as fun of a watch right now in the minor leagues because it looks like a rehabbing big leaguer pitching against minor leaguers. And I think the results will back that up with what you're seeing, in terms of run prevention and just stats in general, with opponents hitting 152 with a 187 on-base percentage and a 205 slug against this guy this year.
That is that's insane, those numbers. And I'm just watching the highlights, guys, and that ball is moving with him. I mean, there was a lot of movement there for this guy. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
And the fun part with him is you can dream on a ceiling, but I think the floor is the aspect too, where you felt like even out of the draft, you could plug him into the big leagues and he'd hold his own in the back of the rotation. But now what we're seeing is, because of the movement profile, the fastball has a little bit more carry, the changeup off of that, and the 2 breaking balls, you're starting to dream on more and more. And I know the Mariners raved about when I went out there during spring training, how bought in he immediately was, Cade Anderson, to just the mentality that the Mariners like to preach from top to bottom to their pitchers. And sometimes you get a pitcher that is so advanced and has it all seemingly figured out, and they want to do their own thing. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Cade bought into an organization that is very good at maximizing pitching prospects, and a very good talent here is now feeling like he can take a step forward there, I think, with the execution in the way that he's attacking hitters too.
Aram Leighton of Just Baseball Media with us today. And Aram, you look at the glut of starting pitchers the Mariners have. There's a lot of injuries in the bullpen as well. Could you see one or both of those guys contributing at all as relievers?
It's really interesting. I think Sloan they're going to be a little bit slower with, and he's had his ebbs and flows. The Texas League is tough, where you could just really get clipped on a couple homers that don't get out in a lot of other leagues and a lot of other ballparks, and it inflates the ERA a little bit. But I think in general, they want to go more station to station with Sloan. I think with Cade Anderson, this is a guy that we could see in the fold sooner rather than later. It's just, I guess the question would be in what capacity. He's only pitched really as a starter. And the thing that makes Anderson so good is I think that he can give you a different look each time through the lineup. You see in the modern game, right, where starters are so frequently pulled third time through because hitters start to know what and can kind of game plan for what you're going to do and they've seen you. He can go fastball changeup first time through, then he can go fastball slider and fastball curveball second time through, and just consistently change his looks. I still think Anderson would be really effective in a relief role, but the irony is, I would say, hey, this is a guy that could, if you wanted to limit the innings and get him involved in the big leagues and get another left-hander in the fold, he could be helpful in an opener or piggyback situation, but that's the last thing that the Mariners need right now. So I think there's a world where we could see him up in the bullpen if they feel like he can help them, or of course if you had an unfortunate slew of injuries to the rotation, because the clear thing is that Anderson is ready. It's just a matter of how does he fit in, and do you want to rack up innings with him? I think the last note on this, I know I'm going long here, is I think they're looking at Cade Anderson as a guy that's going to be able to pitch 160, 170 innings for them next year. And I think they really want to build him up to that this year. So there may be some hesitance to cut down on the workload, which would happen if he moved into the bullpen, because you want to have him prepared to go, with no restrictions next year when some of those rotation spots may open up.
Yeah, don't worry about going long. This is why we love having you. This is great insight. I know you wake up thinking about baseball. You go to bed dreaming of baseball, I'm sure, as well. So I'm going to throw it at you. You have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media for a reason, because you know this sport. The piggyback situation is driving people crazy in the city of Seattle. Just your baseball thoughts on this.
Every starting pitcher I've talked to, they're creatures of habit, and you are very much disrupting that. The habit and the routine that they can really settle into, or most of these guys have already settled into, right? We're looking at a rotation full of, established big league starters, aside from Hancock, who has really settled in now into his role. I feel like it's a very tough situation. It's one of those that on paper seems to make more sense, but when you really start talking to the guys, I think it does seem to be a little bit more difficult. And I understand with Castillo, you don't want to just kind of cut bait there. He's one of the more expensive players in the roster. He's also had so much history with the organization and has had a lot of success since they've acquired him. But it does feel a little bit like the sunk cost fallacy here, where you're taking some innings away or putting your starters that are better in uncomfortable positions to try to improve a guy that at 33 years old just looks like he might be slowing down a little bit, and I think has been showing that a little bit over the last couple of years. So to be honest, I think it's not the best move. I think now is the time to try it. And I appreciate that the starters have come together and said, like, hey, we'll all kind of pitch in and we can all be piggybacked at some point. I don't know if it makes a ton of sense for them right now. And I do think at the end of the day, maybe transitioning Castillo more into like a long relief type of guy, or, someone that just kind of is in mop-up duty may make more sense. And if something clicks and he finds it, then you can start to revisit it then again later.
100% agree. I think it's okay. Let's try it up until the All-Star game. The American League West is bad, but once after the All-Star break, let's put it away. Paul, I'm done.
Well, I don't want to get Chris going on piggyback. Let's bring in our guy, Dusty Baker. Dusty, you actually helped contribute with Just Baseball several years ago.
Yeah, guys. And when you look at the growth of what Just Baseball has done, what Aram has done, my boys Peter as well as Jack as well, it is incredible, guys. And of course, Aram, just to be able to see the growth in such a short amount of time for Just Baseball, what has this been like for you? And what do you see the next steps as well as covering this moving forward? Because you guys are growing the game as well here.
Well, and that was always the dream, really. I never thought that this would be a job. At the end of the day, I thought it would just be something on the side, maybe even just a little resume booster while I'm trying to broadcast. But it's just been a dream come true. And people like yourself, Dusty, that have jumped in out of the gate and saw the vision and contributed and helped us get here has been so much fun. But I think the most exciting aspect of it is, for so much of my life, I was always told baseball is dying. And I just really rejected that notion and didn't really want to accept it. And I feel like Just Baseball is kind of proof that it's not. And I think there's a lot of proof across the game with the numbers and whether it's attendance, viewership, whatever it may be. And of course, we've got a little bit of something looming over our heads now going into next year, but we can ignore that for now. I just think baseball has been in such an exciting trajectory. And I feel really proud that, we've been able to capture that younger audience that we've been told so many times doesn't exist, while still being able to, entertain and cater towards, the old guard and people that I think about, like my late father and what he would want to see, whether it's on the website or the way that we're creating this content. So I felt like there was always a way to do both. And I'm really proud that our team has, helped kind of figure out how to do that. And baseball's not dying. I think that's my biggest point here. And I think it's thriving.
Yeah. Great
Good
stuff
stuff,
from
man.
Aram Leighton of Just Baseball Media. Hey, Aram, listen, we really appreciate the numbers, the information, all the insight today. It's been a great visit. Thank you for coming on, and looking forward to having you back soon.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a blast.